meeting of the School Board of Charlotte County is hereby called to order. Here in Charlotte County, we will achieve our vision of student success through our mission. We will provide an innovative educational environment that allows and inspires success for everyone. We're going to start the meeting today with a pledge of allegiance to the flag. If you'll all stand and join us. Wait. I have to call the people up who are going to lead us, and that's going to be Ron Regala and Asina Mott, who are on our agenda today in just a minute for being recognized and nominated for the position of principal at two of our elementary schools. So now please stand and join us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
May I? As Asina and Ron are being seated, I would like for us to collectively congratulate the two of them. Ron has been appointed as the new principal of Kingsway Elementary School effective July 1st. And Asina Mott is being recommended this evening to be principal at Meadow Park Elementary School. Congratulations to both of you. Thank you.
Mr. Superintendent, do we have any additions and corrections to tonight's agenda?
We do. We have 2 additions and 1 deletion. This evening, I'm asking for the board to approve the addition of item F2E. That's the personnel addendum number 1, which is the one that recommends Ron to Kingsway and Asina to Meadow Park. And item F2E, personnel addendum, there are 3 resignations that we're asking you to accept this evening. And 1 deletion, item F2E, and that's the personnel action job description that you have this evening.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we add the 2 personnel addendums and delete the job description under item F2E. Is there any board discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We have several reports today, which is why the house is filled. So, Mr. Superintendent, where are we going to start?
We're going to start at the beginning. And
go to the end.
I hope you all wore comfy shoes this evening. We're going to be standing for a little while. We are going to begin with the recognition of Charlotte High A-Team, and we will move through and finish with Volunteer of the Year. So let's go down front. While we're going down front, I'm going to ask Mr. Schaefer to come forward, and whoever else Mr. Schaefer would like to invite. Oh, and Karen.
We'll get turned on here. Okay. Good evening, School Board Chair, Ms. Messina, board members, Dr. Whitaker, and Mrs. Young. On behalf of the Division of Learning, I would like to introduce the beginning of these recognitions, which is the academic team for Charlotte High School, and to go further with this is the principal, Richard Schaefer.
Thank you, Ms. Laporte. Madam Chair, board members, Dr. Whitaker, Superintendent, it's my pleasure to be here this evening and this opportunity to congratulate the winners of the A-Team and a number of other folks that we'll recognize this evening. There are wonderful things going on in Charlotte County, and it's an outstanding opportunity for us to rejoice in that, and it's a pleasure to be able to recognize Mr. Rick Weston, who is the coach of our academic team. Mr. Weston, if you would, please, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm very honored and humbled to be up here with my students and members of the academic team. This is the 7th year I've been the coach, and we finally did it. And we've been so close the last 4 or 5 years, making it to the finals and semifinals occasionally. But I just think the world of these kids. I think the world of Charlotte High School in our district, and I could not be more proud. Watching them a couple weekends ago, watching them win, it means a lot to me. It means a lot to our school. Mr. Schaefer and the administration had a nice send-off for our kids like they usually do for kids who are going on to state competitions. and they did a really nice thing. The school got really behind it. It was a really cool thing. We went out in the courtyard, and our students made a huge tunnel for us, and music, and everybody just really getting into it. And it's really a really cool thing to see our school get behind our students, and on an academic basis, we feel like we have a lot of good things going on at our high school, and I'm very happy about to be the coach and the representative and have these people represent the Charlotte High School academic team. Okay. First of all, Nathan C. Paulsing. Clifford Rice. We have a few people that weren't here. As you know, we have AP tests coming up this week, and and seniors graduating. So some of our seniors could not be here. McGuire Peters, Hadley O'Neill, and Maria Tierney. I don't know if they came in late. Let me see. Matt Ferensky. And then Cole Kiesling. And Jake Christie.
While Mr. Weston and the kids are standing off to the side, as humble as Mr. Weston is and the kids are, I just need to say this, that after 6 years of participating in this activity and this challenge, there were 33 schools in 6 counties that this team defeated. And South Fort Myers High School in Lee County was the team that challenged us. And congratulations, guys. Next, from Charlotte High School, it's my pleasure to introduce to you from the athletic side. But before they come up, I'd like to mention to you as well that their combined grade point average is a 3.4. The state weightlifting team, Mr. Hickson.
On behalf of Charlotte High School and Charlotte Athletics and the weightlifting team, we're very honored to be here. And this is your 2012 2A state champ weight team. They're an awesome group of student athletes. They've worked very hard this year. A lot of them have been lifting for many, many years. And with weightlifting, it takes 3, 4, 5 years to become a very successful weightlifter at the state level. And the greatest thing about this team is that we have no individual champions. We had 6 lifters score, and it was a true team effort. And I think based on the other teams, they might have had 1 or 2 or 3 lifters score, but we had 6. So I'm very proud of the weightlifting team as a whole, and that's the biggest thing was the team. So thank you, guys. We had 10 qualify, and at 119, who participated in the state is Corey Lieb. Another 119-pounder was Taylor Hasslinger. At the 129-pound class was Cole Midget. $169-pound class, Chris Landry. Taking 6th place in the 183-pound class, Devin Olantolo. Taking 4th place in 199, Max Riddle. Taking 3rd place in 199, Clyde Newton. Taking 5th place in the 219-pound class, McCoy Hilton. And also taking 5th place in 238, Doug Stroman. And I also want to introduce my assistant coach. He does a fabulous job. I couldn't do this without him, and that's Coach Matt Galley.
And on behalf of the athletic department and our weightlifting team, Dr. Whitaker, maybe you can find a place of honor somewhere. We'd like to present you with our state championship medal from the boys weightlifting team.
Thanks, Coach, and Mr. Nolan, our athletic director. Next, we'd like to recognize the state wrestling champion. Mr. Nolan's going to help out with that. And Coach Robinson from Charlotte High School, and our state wrestling champion.
Little short wrestling coaches. But anyways, tonight I have Davion Stewart's here with us, 3-time state place winner, 95-13 in a high school career. He capped it off as a state champ and a 23-1 record this year, and he avenged that one loss, so I have to give him that. Anyways, 3.0 GPA, very courteous young man. Will be attending the University of South Alabama next year on a football scholarship. Tried to get him to wrestle, but he's going to really enjoy that and present him with his certificate. State champ at 195.
Yes, that microphone was a little bit low. And with that, Dr. Whitaker, members of the board chair, thank you so much on behalf of Charlotte High School.
Thank you, Mr. Schaefer. It's always nice to see our athletes excel. It's even nicer to see our athletes with high GPAs as well, because that is first and foremost. A-team, you guys are just great. Congratulations. It's also nice to see that a high school is willing to support and cheer and celebrate an academic team at the same level that they do their athletic teams. So congratulations to Charlotte High. Got your priorities in order. Good. Our next recognition is West Coast Art recognition. Ellen Harvey, if you would come forward.
Well, we are also very proud of our art students and music students. And just last week, we had $10,000 in scholarships and cash and prizes for our seniors at our secondary art show, where Dr. Whitaker told us that art and music are just part of our school system, our school board. We want to thank you so much for making sure that every student always has the opportunity to study art and music, and thank you for that. So we have some very talented high school students with us that entered the Congressional Art Competition. And I would like to introduce Dana Goulet from Congressman Rooney's office. If you would please come forward.
Thank you so much, Ellen. Each spring, the Congressional Institute sponsors a nationwide high school visual art competition to recognize and encourage artistic talent in the nation and in each congressional district. The overall winner will be invited to a winner's reception in Washington, D.C., and receive 2 complimentary tickets from Southwest Airlines to attend. In addition, the artwork will be hung in the Cannon Tunnel, an underground passageway that connects the U.S. Capitol to the Cannon House office building. Members of Congress and hundreds of visitors pass by the exhibit daily. Ms. Samantha Tipton of Charlotte High has received the first place award for her piece of work called Highlander's Best Tilapia. And Mr. We would also like to recognize Mr. Timothy DeGilio. He has been awarded second place for his piece of work called Local Prospective. On behalf of Congressman Rooney, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate Samantha and Timothy for their well-deserved recognition. Thank you.
At this time, I'm going to ask our social studies curriculum and instruction specialist, Donna Deneke, to come to the podium to announce our next recognition, which is a History State Fair finalist.
Thank you, Dr. Whitaker. Madam Chairwoman, I have to lower it a little bit. School board members, Dr. Whitaker, Superintendent, and Mrs. Young, School Board Attorney, and esteemed guests. I want to take this opportunity to recognize 6 of our finest students. National History Day is a highly regarded academic program for students 6 through 12, and each more than 500,000 students nationwide compete and encourages thousands of teachers and students to engage in the teaching and learning of history. And in fact, the Charlotte County Public Schools has been working with National History Day for 22 years. And I'm happy to say we did very well at the state competition this year. Students choose a historical topic related to a theme and conduct extensive research with primary and secondary sources. They use libraries, archives, museums, oral history interviews, and historical sites. After analyzing their data, they draw conclusions about their topic's significance and histories, and they present the work in a variety of formats, which include original papers, website design, exhibits, performances, and documentaries. The products are entered into competitions in the spring. We have a local competition in March, the state competition in May, and the national competition ends in June. It's held at the University of Maryland at College Park. So with great pleasure and pride, I need to congratulate the following Charlotte County Public School students for their fine performance at the Florida State History Fair earlier this month. Mrs. Laporte, would you bring me those certificates, the ones right there? Right there, the framed ones that I forgot to bring. Apologize. Thank you. Thank you very much. Megan McGeehee, I'd like to call her up, a 10th grade student at Charlotte High School. She won first place for her senior individual exhibit entitled, Whatever Happened to the Milkman? Her teacher is Ken Kincaid, who I'd like to call up as well. And because she placed first, let me say that again, first at the state competition, Megan and her exhibit will be representing Florida at the national competition in June. Congratulations. If you'd like to see an example of the type of work and the type of commitment on the part of our students, her exhibit is on display. Take a look at it and just be impressed. Okay, not a problem. All right, I'd also like to call up four students, Scott Barnett, Matt Keebler, Clifford Rice, and Nathan Sapalzing, all seniors at Charlotte High School. They won third place at the state competition, ladies and gentlemen, for their senior group documentary for their entry titled By Any Means Necessary, The Life and Works of Malcolm X. Their teacher is Ken Kincaid, so please congratulate these students. You can shake hands. Jimmy Lauren, who's an 8th grade student at Port Charlotte Middle School, he won third place in the state for his junior individual exhibit category for his entry entitled The Technology Revolution, Its Impact on the United States Postal Service. His teacher is Jeff Yingling, and Jimmy was sick today and wanted to be here, but I think his mom made him stay home with 102-degree temperature. So I do have Mr. Revelis accepting his award on behalf of Mr. Lauren. And in conclusion, I want to tell you that this really does my heart good. We're a small county compared to others, and we rocked at the state competition, ladies and gentlemen. And the last thing I want to say is go get them in D.C. Go for you. Good for you.
I'd like to express my appreciation to our retirees and our volunteers for patiently sitting through this presentation. We thought it would be sort of nice to have a big audience for the kids when they came through. So I'm sorry we used you for this. But thank you for staying here with us. At this time, we are going to move into our retiree recognition. And Mrs. Mellinson, are you going to be doing this presentation? Like any good leader, you do what you're told. All right. Thank you. This is Barbara Mellinson, our Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources.
Madam Chair, board members, Dr. Whitaker, an esteemed attorney, and honored guests. This is such a bittersweet time for us. Every year I struggle as I say goodbye to the people that are going to be coming up here, and I'm also envious, as many of you are as well. Retiree is such a misnomer for what this group is going to do. The stories of their plans, it's so exciting that I really think that we've got to come up with a better name. This group has 1,687 years of experience, dedication, service, and love for the students in this district. I just think that is just incredible. And I just can't thank you enough for choosing to spend your time with us. You could have gone lots of different places. You could have done lots of things. But you all decided to spend your years helping the students in Charlotte County. And for that, we are so grateful. So as a group, I want to thank you. And as I read your name, if you would come forward and get your plaque from Regina and Teresa, and then come over here and share a few moments with the school board members. Elizabeth Albach, 16 years. She's a paraprofessional at Charlotte High. Pamela Bartels, 20 years. And she's a data management tech at Kingsway. Veronica Brown, 10 years, a paraprofessional at Vineland. Wealtha Carr, guidance counselor at Deep Creek. William Cole, 32 years as a plumber in our maintenance department. Lori Davis, 24 years, principal at Kingsway. Linda DeCoster, 24 years, 5th grade teacher at Vineland. Lucy Garner, 11 years, homeless youth liaison. Karen Hessler, 35 years. Karen Hessler, 35 years as a para at Sally Jones. Barbara Hoffman, 13 years, teacher at Meadow Park. Vivian Long, 16 years, para at Sally Jones. Carol Makuba, 12 years, receptionist here at Murdoch. Patricia Masters, 23 years, school social worker. Wilfred Matthews, 17 years, custodian at Port Charlotte High. Bonnie Osborne, 21 years, kindergarten teacher at East. Christina Pond, custodian at Sally Jones. Carol Sanders, 14 years, 3rd grade teacher at Kingsway. Gloria Shelby, bus driver. Sherry Sirkin, 21 years, guidance counselor at Sally Jones. Fred Stunkel, 32 years, industrial education teacher at the Tech Center. Michael Sweeterman, 27 years, assistant principal at L.A. Anger. Donette Todd, 35 years, principal secretary, L.A. Anger. Judith Tornwell, 28 years, science teacher, Port Charlotte. Audrey Wharton, 8 years, ESC Para, Port Charlotte Middle. Now, we sent out a lot of letters to a lot of people, and these are the ones who we believe are the ones that responded. If there are any other retirees who have already filled their paperwork out, not people who want to retire, but if you've already filled your paperwork out, please stand up so we can recognize you as well. Okay, seeing none. Again, let's give these folks a huge round of applause.
How many years, Barb? One? It's amazing. 1,687. Wow. Thank you again, retirees. Our final report this evening in recognition is Volunteer of the Year, and it's with fear and trepidation that I invite Mike Riley to the podium. You know, one never knows what will happen. Mike?
I don't know why I love him. Volunteers, this is one of the highlights for me and tonight, but for the schools all year long. I have a couple things I'd like to say. And you've heard this before. 100 years from now, it will not matter what kind of house you lived in, what kind of car you drove, what your bank balance was. But what will matter 100 years from now is that you were important in the life of a child. And I found a poem that it's a thank you. And the words thank you cannot express the depth of what your time has meant to me and to countless others in our school system. You shall always hold a place in our hearts, as will all my memories where your many acts of kindness live. Thank you inadequately says what our hearts feel. Every day has been a blessing just because of you. Dr. Whitaker, if you would, I have some certificates, Make a Difference, and the starfish pins. Not starship, starfish, right? We had 21 nominations this year, which is amazing. We have probably 1,100 volunteers in our district that put in thousands of hours every year. And if you're a classroom teacher, if you're a principal, you know the value of these folks. And I'd like to start with Melissa Anaruma from Neil Armstrong Elementary School. Melissa's the PTO president. She has volunteered for 3 years and averages 30 hours per week at the school. She not only organizes fundraisers, but works with children every day. Melissa, if you would go around. Ruby Bandy from Liberty Elementary School. Ruby's there for 3 years, 11 hours every week. She works with students on improving their math and reading skills and is active in all PTO functions. Carol Bloom from Charlotte Harbor Center. For 3 years, every week, Carol brings her therapy dog, Curry, so that students can learn about pet care and kindness to animals. Now, actually, we have a certificate and a pin for Carol and for her dog, Curry. So we'll see that Daryl Milstead gets those too. Diane Boughton, Murdoch Middle School. 18 hours plus per week. She handles the hectic front desk 3 days a week and is always cheerful, always caring, and always knowledgeable. Bonnie Carr from East Elementary School, recently retired, 1 year. She averages probably 20 hours per week. Bonnie's on a mission to increase student interest in reading, and she's done that in so many different ways. She was also nominated by Kingsway Elementary School for her tireless efforts to promote reading. Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you so much. We're honored tonight to have Sergeant Ray Degnault from Port Charlotte High School. 1 year, 20 hours per week. He's a sergeant in the U.S. Army Reserve. He's brought professionalism, realism, and dedication to share with the Port Charlotte High School NJROTC program. The students look up to and admire Sergeant Degnault. He credits his wife for letting him be there. From Liberty Elementary School, Angela Delagrange. This year, 6 hours per week. She has 2 preschoolers and still comes into school for 6 hours a week volunteering in the classroom. That's quite an opportunity, an achievement for anyone to do. Thank you, Angela. From Punta Gorda Middle School, Richard Deebley. For 3 years, 4 hours per week, Mr. Deebley volunteers in the media center. He's been part of the Punta Gorda Middle School team as a teacher, and he couldn't let go. He cares about the school and the students. Gene Duffy from the Homeless Education Project. For 5 years, approximately 10 hours per week, Gene Duffy has opened her heart to make a difference for homeless children in our community. Monica Ezzy from Sally Jones Elementary School. For 5 years, approximately 10 hours per week. Let's just say about Monica that she does pretty much anything and everything to help Sally Jones Elementary School be the successful school that it is. Cindy Brooks Gerlin from L.A. Anger Middle School. 3 years, 3 hours a week, plus many more on her own time. Her heart and passion make a difference in the school. She's PTO president. No price can be put on her dedication and efforts. Gina Haricall from Charlotte High School. For this year, for 5 hours per week, she works in the 12th grade intensive reading program. She has a soft spot for the students, and they love and respect her. Charlotte High School is fortunate to have her as a volunteer and an example for students. Jessica Emmich from Deep Creek Elementary School. For 4 years, for 5 hours per week, she serves now as PTO treasurer. She's chaired many fundraisers. She's conscientious and dedicated to helping Deep Creek Elementary School be the wonderful school that it is for kids. I think these principals are getting by pretty easy with just a bouquet of flowers. Just kidding, Miss Carney. Marjorie Lemus, Port Charlotte Middle School. For 1 year, for 3 hours a week, Marjorie found Port Charlotte Middle School. They didn't find her. She volunteers in the security window and greets every visitor with a warm smile and kindness and points them in the right direction each and every time. Mary Muselik from Peace River Elementary School. 5 years, 2 hours per week. Now, I'm not going to tell your age at 90 years old. Mary is an... Mary is an inspiration to all. She does whatever she's asked to do with a smile and a determined attitude. She's most famous for her goodies she sends home with students on holidays. Rhonda Nash from Punta Gorda Middle School. Rhonda stepped in to serve as PTO president this year and hasn't stopped since. She's planned this year's activities and does whatever else needs to be done time and time again. Sharon Stearns from Meadow Park Elementary School. This year, 25 hours per week, every day in the Family Literacy Center. She is known as the Copy Queen. Tireless, dedicated, kind, and caring. She does it all for Meadow Park Elementary School. Team Hargrove from the Baker Center. For the past 2 years, 10 hours per week, Emily, Josh, and Tiffany have proven to be trustworthy, efficient, and extremely dependable, volunteering in the older toddler class. They are former Charlotte County Public School students and are modeling positive behavior for the Baker students. Sherry Wetmiller from Vineland Elementary School. 17 years, millions of hours. Who can count them? She serves as a positive mentor for all of Vineland Elementary School's volunteers. She's reliable and responsible with the best attitude. If it happens at Vineland Elementary School, Sherry is part of it. Much like the Teacher of the Year, the Volunteer of the Year, these are the Volunteers of the Year. I guarantee you, each letter that comes with, this is why our nominee should be Volunteer of the Year, and they all should be. And it's very difficult to single out one person, but it's always an honor to have something like that. And I'd just like to say something from Lemon Bay High School for 10 years, 20 to 30 hours per week, long-time Take Stock in Children mentor, project graduation coordinator, Christmas tree sale organizer, basketball booster. She prepares pregame meals for coaches, parents, and officials, serves on the RTIB committee as a community member. Nothing can slow her down. She's on campus. She's faithful to fulfill her service. She has a kind heart, never complains, truly is an inspiration and a hero to the students, parents, community, and staff of Lemon Bay High School. Beth Johnson is Charlotte County Public Schools Volunteer of the Year. Beth's name will be added. We have a plaque of former nominees and winners, and she'll be added. It's on display in the hallway. But once again, to each and every one of you, when you look at the time, we talked about the years for the retirees, counting the hours that you folks give to the children in our school system is priceless. We couldn't do it without you. From the bottom of my heart and from the superintendent and our school board, we thank you so very much for everything you do for the kids. Thank you.
The board will come down and shake your hand, so stay right here for a minute. They're on their way.
I vote we vote. Sherry, I didn't realize you'd been around for 17 years. I mean, when he said it, I started going, that's probably right. Now, where is Alex now? Oh, my gosh. That's okay. And where are the others?
Is it? Do you see students?
Wow. Okay. Wow. Well, you got all over.
Now that everybody's gone.
You've done well. Good seeing you.
Okay, there he is. Yeah. What about Mike? It is. I was thinking the same thing.
So it's such a terrible disease.
They should know after seeing that.
How are you? Good. Having fun?
You know what?
You're here for all
they
summer,
have to think
right?
about.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, good idea.
Wow, that's exciting and cool. We're going to be in a dorm. Is that who you got your internship from? The Washington Center? I did one of their seminars when I was in college, and yeah, you're still always considered in a long time and you get invited back. I lived in their dorm, so how are you? Good seeing you. Good. Saw your prom
Yes.
picture. Was it hump at first date? Is what it was. First date. Congratulations. You look beautiful. I kept holding out that your first date would be with my son, but it's okay. Bye. Take care.
Oh, are they?
All right, should we go?
By comparison, I sure will.
That wasn't as bad as I thought.
Many, many congratulations, and once again, we want to thank you for your service to our students. Mr. Superintendent, do we have any old business tonight?
No, there is no old business.
All right, then we shall move forward to the new business on the consent agenda. Mr. Superintendent.
I'm pleased to bring to you this evening the consent agenda as presented to you.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there any board discussion? Is there any board discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. First item on the action agenda, the comprehensive safety inspection reports. Mr. Superintendent.
Yes, I'm bringing this to you this evening and recommending board approval of the comprehensive safety inspection reports for this year.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the comprehensive safety inspection reports. Is there any board discussion? This is not a small item. I mean, I realize that we're kind of passing it and moving it along, but nothing's more important than the safety of our kids, and it takes hours and hours and hours to do these safety inspections. So, Mr. Olivo, we really appreciate the work of your team there on those items. Somebody wanted Mr. Swift.
Give me a second. I'm trying to. There was one that there was one item that appeared repeatedly, and I can't figure out what it means. I asked the question of the superintendent. It's inadequate egress width, which implies a structural deficiency rather than there being stuff in the hallway kind of thing. So can somebody tell me what the definition of that is, please?
Yeah, I had not. Jerry was out celebrating his son's wedding this weekend, so I did not get a chance to run the question by him. But Jerry or Jean, do either one of you recognize what that means in the SREF reports? Or if not, if you would find out and report back to us. Okay, that'll be great. Thank you.
And Mr. Olivo, I didn't realize Charlotte Harbor Environmental Center would be part of our list.
Yeah, there are two buildings. I don't mean to jump in. There are two buildings out there that are portables that the school district donated or put out there at the formation of CHEC at that site, and they were portables that were built by the tech center 1,000 years ago probably, and they're still out there, and they're still on our inventory.
Okay, thanks.
Did you want to add anything, Mr. Olivo? No? I saw you half up. That's why I thought I'd ask.
Nope, just wanted to congratulate again the principals, the assistant principals, the leadership, and the families at all of our locations, and our maintenance and operations department, as Dr. Whitaker mentioned, an outstanding job each year, yeoman's job each year to inspect each and every space throughout the district, and we're pretty proud of our ability to handle that. And I'll find out the answer to that question, Mr. Swift.
Thank you.
All right. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item B, construction plan review and inspection building official. Mr. Superintendent, that sounds like a very complex.
It sounds like it, but it's really not. However, District Support Services is submitting the results from the construction plan review and the inspection selection committee for building officials. The recommendation I have for you this evening is to bring the top 3 firms to you and request your approval on those firms so that our negotiations can proceed.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the construction plan review and inspection building official. Is there any board discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Construction manager at risk for small projects up to $2 million. Mr. Superintendent.
District Support Services as well is submitting the results from their construction manager at risk selection committee for our small projects, which now are projects up to $2 million. And the ranking of these top 3 firms is presented to you, and I'm asking for your approval so that negotiations with these companies may proceed.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the construction manager at risk small project listing. Is there any board discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next item is the interlocal agreement. Very complex and detailed document.
Yes, and we just met with our partners, the City Council of Punta Gorda and Charlotte County commissioners, and I'm asking for board approval tonight for the updated interlocal agreement for the coordinated planning and school concurrency between Charlotte County Commission, the City of Punta Gorda, and the School Board of Charlotte County. And as a reminder to the board and information for the public, this agreement was discussed at an open meeting on April 30th, 2012, in the annual joint workshop of the 3 participating governmental agencies.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the interlocal agreement as discussed and presented. Is there any board discussion? Also, for the public, all 3 bodies have to also approve the interlocal agreement. So I think we're either going to be the first based on the workshop date?
We are the second. Charlotte County approved it last week. We're approving it tonight, and City of Punta Gorda approves it tomorrow.
Okay, great. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next item is the personnel action as amended. Mr. Superintendent.
And I'm bringing to you the personnel action list this evening and with the amendment on the job description and request board approval.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the personnel action as amended. Any board discussion? Once again, I just want to wish good luck to our newly appointed principals. That's a task that's becoming more and more difficult as the days go by, and we appreciate those who are willing to step up and assume that task. So I wish them much good luck and success. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next item is citizen comment. Ms. Dow, do we have anyone? Yeah. Are there any citizens who wish to speak before the board tonight? Seeing none. Welcome to the Scout in the House today. We've had groups of them throughout the year. Attorney comment. Ms. Young.
I had the pleasure of spending a little time with Miss Josephine Gaylor a weekend or so ago at the Gaylor's snowbird party. She's about a year and a half now, toddling around. And they say their biggest decision of the day is, do they go to the beach before the nap or after nap time? So I didn't ask if they missed us. I knew what that
you
answer
already knew
would
the
be.
answer, yeah.
That's all.
Thank you. Ms. Miller.
Oh, okay. First of all, I'd like to say, too, that these were wonderful recognitions that we had this evening. There's so many good things going on, and our students are doing so well. I attended a meeting Monday, and it was the Children's Services, and the school board received this certificate of appreciation, and I said that I would bring it in tonight and give it to you. It's in recognition of your participation in the Everybody's a Teacher program, and it was the second day of March, and it was held in here, and we had a lot of different groups that worked with our children, and it was very successful, and it was well put together by our secretary, Teresa, and so many other people here in the county office. And so I will give this to you. It's the Department of Children and Families, so we have that.
Thank you. Anything
And that's
else?
all.
Okay, Mr. Vincent.
I have nothing.
Mr. Swift.
Unfortunately. First thing I'd like to comment, the recognitions tonight and the recognitions at the senior awards assemblies, the accomplishments of some of our seniors this year. We've got I think 2 National Merit Scholars with the possibility of a third. All 3 high schools being recognized in the U.S. News and World Report rankings of the best high schools in the country. To my knowledge, that has never happened in this district before, and that's 09-10 data, and our data for last year was better than the year before that, so it bodes well for the future. The next thing I'd like to talk about for a moment is Crossroads Wilderness. As many of you may have read in the paper recently, and unfortunately this won't get on the internet in time probably to aid our efforts, but their contract is being non-renewed by some bureaucratic maneuvering by state government. A lot of people have called a lot of people who have called a lot of people, and we're hopeful that we're going to be able to prevent this at least for 6 months, but we don't know. We'll just keep fighting. There is a new website that was created today called supportcrossroads.com. It had 250 hits by about 4 o'clock. So a lot of people are looking at that. As we all know, the writing scores came out yesterday, and as everyone expected, and as I had myself reminded earlier today, we had a group of professional educators, superintendents, teachers, and all recommend how this should work out. And the State Board of Education ignored and implemented exactly the opposite of what the professionals recommended. That's why we had happening today what's happening. The number of parents apparently on the conference call that gave the state board and the commissioner a piece of their mind was rather amazing. They were not kind. They were very blunt. And I think this may create some changes, some not so good, maybe some better. But it is one of the initial things now, I think, that's going to make our legislature and Department of Education and State Board look at the system. When you've got a test that a person with 2 master's degrees, and this is a school board member in Orange County, he teaches college, has 2 master's degrees, and he cannot pass the 10th grade FCAT. Anecdotally, I was told there was a student in the greater Orlando area somewhere who got a perfect score on the ACT reading and can't pass the FCAT. We have in our own schools students taking AP and dual credit classes and passing them, college coursework, and they can't pass the 10th grade FCAT reading. Something is wrong with the test. And this is a $50 million a year business for Pearson Learning, and they can't get it right. So I think there is a resolution that several school districts have passed. I asked the superintendent that it be placed on a workshop agenda to be discussed, and I hope we will be able to do that at our June workshop. I believe it is also going to be considered by the Board of Directors and the General Membership of Florida School Boards Association at our annual meeting in June. And the resolution deals with the overdependence on high-stakes testing and how we feel that it is not appropriate for children. Lastly, I was appointed to a committee and then somehow ended up being made secretary of the committee. The Independent Benefits Council, which is a cooperative effort of the Florida School Board Association, Florida Association of School Administrators, the Superintendents Association, and the Florida Education Association, the Teachers Union. The council is a part of that, and they have created a subsidiary. The name was up in the air last week when I attended the meeting, but what it's going to do with, and it doesn't directly apply to us right now, but it could have some implication in the future. It deals with initially over 65 retiree employees who are on health insurance. We currently do not have anybody, but we could sign on to the agreement, and our employees would go into that program separately. It is a win-win for school districts. They're going to be bidding the program out in the fall. Hopefully they will be able to get health insurance at a cheaper rate than they're currently able to, and it also shifts some accounting liability for future benefits, retiree benefits, off of the school district's books and to this group. Currently in the state of Florida, there's a $3.5 billion pension liability in education for school districts. If the bonding agencies, while there is no way that liability would ever come due all at once because it's for all the retirees forever kind of thing. And it's one of those things that the bonding agencies in New York could look at, and that liability, unfunded liability, could cause the rating on our other bonds to go up, and consequently the interest on those to go up. So this is a proactive measure to try to take that little tidbit off the table for the bonding agencies and to produce a system for our retirees that provides them with better health insurance than they're currently able to provide. As soon as they get the system up and running for the over 65s, they're going to add the under 65 retirees to that, many of whom are on our health insurance. So it would decrease our liabilities there. That, Madam Chairman, I think is it for tonight.
Mrs. Rendell.
And with that, I will just say, looking forward to the graduation marathon tomorrow, preceded by a, 3 or 4 hour workshop. So looking forward to that, and that's it.
Yeah, I was going to say, we do have a full agenda on our workshop tomorrow, so we're going to have to kind of keep it moving, but some of them are informational pieces. And then graduations do start tomorrow night. It's an exciting week for families and students here in Charlotte County, and for those of us who get to congratulate them and see their smiling faces and feel their sweaty palms. Is there any further business? Oh, how about Mr. Dr. Whitaker? Do you have anything you'd like to add before we close the meeting?
I do have a couple of things. I owe the board an apology with a but.
Are you my teenage son?
I kept a secret from you. Robin Stubblin came in on Friday and closed the door and said, I need to ask you a question, but you have to agree to keep this secret, or what I'm about to talk to you about isn't going to happen. And he then proposed that I meet him at Punta Gorda Middle School at about 11:45 on Monday, because the governor was planning on making a surprise visit to Sharon Bruno's classroom. As you may recall, Sharon was recognized as having the outstanding STEM program, middle school STEM program in the state. And the governor wanted to come down, talk with her and her kids without any distractions. And so Kathy Corsoletti and I were the two people that knew that he was coming, and we were sworn to secrecy. So I felt a little awkward, but it was really a great opportunity to have him come and see an outstanding program and meet a teacher. His office did call the Charlotte Sun just a very short period of time, I don't know, 15 minutes before, 5 minutes before, and said, the governor's coming, if you want to run over there, you can take pictures. So anyway, a lot of secrecy around it, but again, a nice visit, and we got a chance to talk a little bit about Charlotte County as a whole, and also the Crossroads issue, and sort of brought him up to speed. He had heard that it was an issue, didn't know much of the details, so Robin and I sort of filled him in. So that was really exciting. The expression on Sharon's face and the kids, we walked into the classroom and she sort of looked up and saw these people, but didn't realize it was the governor. There was just 4 or 5 of us, and then all of a sudden one of the kids says, "Is that the governor?" And Kathy made her introductions, so that was pretty neat. Sally Jones Elementary Leadership Day. What a great morning. I was there for the first part of it. Senator Benaquisto was there. She was absolutely blown away. And as well as other visitors in the program, and they kept saying, I can't believe these are little kids. And they're talking about being proactive and thinking win-win, and it really, really impressive, as always. It's impressive. So congratulations to Sally Jones on a job well done on that. And then finally, an FCAT rights update. I believe, if I read my note correct from Lisa, that the state board has agreed to a hold harmless and a rollback to a score of 3 for this year, which puts about the same percent of students meeting that criteria as met the 4 last year. So it should be pretty much a wash. The disturbing thing is that teachers and eventually kids are going to get the scores back, and teachers, being proud of what they do, are going to be mortified with their scores. Kids are going to be embarrassed. students who got 5s and 6s last year will have 3s, maybe 4s on their papers. And what Mr. Swift said is true. We warned them. We told them, you don't do this. But it's the pattern that our policymakers, I'll just lump them together. Policymakers have in recent years moved into a mode of, we're going to do reform and we're going to do it now. And you can either jump on board or you're going to get left behind. And in that mode, people make mistakes. Gone is the day when the legislature passes a law and puts into the law that it will take effect on July 1st of the following year. That was a pattern in education. And what that did is it gave the Department of Education time to interpret the law, decide what their instructions were going to be, the detail of what they were going to pass on to us as technical assistants, so we could retool during that year and be prepared for the implementation of the law. This year, they passed the law in March. They got the governor's signature in March, and it went into effect immediately, and it affected the tests that the kids were taking 3 weeks after the law was passed, with no time to make adjustments, no time to make corrections, no time to prepare. They reset the it was just really frustrating. And the state board did the same thing in resetting cut scores for this year. What's frustrating to us as educators is we know that reform is needed. We know accountability is not only on its way, it is here and is getting ramped up. We don't object to it. We don't oppose it. We know that it's actually overdue. But we also know that if they don't do it right, it will crash and burn, and it will be a long time before we get back to where we need to be. And we've seen these kinds of things happen in the past. We have been cautioning our policymakers to move slowly, give us time to come along, and what we have had is the accumulative effect over the last 3 years of law change after law change and policy change after policy change and state board rule change, so that we are in the middle of right now, we are wholesale changing Florida curriculum to the Common Core. We are wholesale changing how we assess our kids, moving to FCAT 2.0, and eventually a whole new assessment system. We're moving to end-of-course exams, high-stakes exams that will affect graduation rate. We are changing teacher accountability systems. We are changing principal accountability systems, all while we're trying to maintain what we're currently doing and add these things on. And it is not going well. And may I say at the same time, our teachers have lost 5% of their pay over that same period of time. Sometimes it's reasonable to be asked to do more with less, but when more gets more, and then more and more, and less continues to get less, you can't help but affect morale. And our teachers have accepted a lot of responsibility. They've stepped up. They've done well. They continue to remain committed. But this can't continue. And so part of me is actually welcome the fiasco, because maybe we'll have their attention, and maybe not. They may just fix this, step back, and then keep right on going. But I hope not. I hope not. I hope our policy makers learn from this and not stop the reforms. I'm not asking for that, but slow them down, invite us to the table so that we can be part of the conversation rather than summarily excluded. If you recall, when they were making their cut scores, the state board put in place a recommendation body. They made their recommendations. The board changed, did not accept those recommendations, made their own changes at the table based on the input of one human being who had walked into the room. They got immediate feedback about how unhappy people were. They created a second advisory committee that was then made up of college and community college and university folks to determine the cut score. They looked at the same data the first committee did. They made the same recommendation the first committee did, and the state board summarily ignored that recommendation and set the cut scores where they wanted to. That's frustrating as a professional. And so maybe we'll have their attention, even if it's just for a moment, and begin to get reason into this system. All they had to do was identify 7 or 8 districts, 5 or 6 schools in each district, roll out a pilot project for the year, try out their new, more difficult writing prompts, try out the new scoring system, make corrections, look at the data, let us know what the new scoring system was going to be, which they didn't do, to give us exemplar papers so we could understand what a new score of 4 and 3 and 5 would look like, which they didn't do. They could have done that. All they had to do is spend a year and pilot the new program, and the rollout would have been smooth and gone without a hitch. But, you know, today they had a disaster on their hands, and they were scrambling. So as far as I know, the latest is a hold harmless back to a score of 3, which should be about equal with last year, so I don't see significant penalties to schools for this year. I will keep you posted and let you know if there are any further changes.
Mr. Swift?
There's Dr. Whitaker mentioned that a lot of this was prompted by one person, and I'll forward the email that I got from Kathleen Oropeza, Fund Education Now. The same individuals are now proposing abandonment of the Common Core standards. One of the resolutions would be that they are in favor of, are actually the one that's actually supported by the Foundation for Florida's Future. In my initial 3 readings of it, looks very much like it's an advocation of local control. But since this is the same group that pushed adoption of the Common Core standards on the state as a part of our Race to the Top grant, it seems to me a little bit difficult, but it's the same kind of pattern. And we're going to need to keep up with how that unfolds over the next few months.
Anything else? Anything else, Dr.
No,
Whitaker?
I'm done.
Then if there is no further business to come before the board, meeting adjourned.